Hey friends, what's up? Welcome into my channel. My name is Jackie Alves and I am coming to you from my beautiful makeup studio in Arizona where I live. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. We're gonna talk about lifting contour tricks that are just gonna help lift up those cheeks. As you can see, I'm a little flat lately. I used to have some great volume here to the point of like thinking I had baby fat or baby cheeks or something. Like I was kind of round in the face. Always felt like I had a double chin, even though it was just that I was full here. And I've lost a lot of volume. So I want to contour. I'll just talk like this all day. I want to contour to give a little bit of a lift, as well as to my eyes, because check out them hooded puppies right there. Yeah. So I'm gonna give a lot of lift to my face just using some simple contour tricks that you could do with a liquid foundation and a powder contour over it. Today I'm gonna use a cream just for fun to show you how easy it can be, because I know it starts to look really difficult and it's a little daunting sometimes. Like we like to watch it because it's pretty entertaining. It's like a trapeze act, like at the circus. Dun 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 dun. Like it's fun to watch, but you're not catching me up there. Kind of like with all that contour stuff, slapping it all over your face with this, you know, like brown and white and pink and all the things. I like to watch it. I ain't gonna do it. But today I'm gonna show you a simple way to do that. And it's gonna look nice and professional. It'll give you a nice lift to your face and you're gonna love it. So let's get started. You guys, also thanks so much for all the subscribers. It's been so much fun to watch my channel grow. I've had a blast with all of your comments and all of the engagement. I love being from this generation of these cool chicks who just remember all the fun things like I do from growing up. All right, I'm gonna start with a serum real quick. I've already done all my skincare, but I've started mixing this serum with my foundation. If I use liquid foundation, I mix it together right in my hand. But if I'm gonna do a cream foundation, which I'll be doing today, I put quite a bit of this on first. It's called Jafra BioLab Facial Serum, and it's a hydrating serum for dehydrated skin. So it's not for dry skin and that it will make it like moist and or greasy. If you're like have oily skin, you're like, I don't wanna be greasy. It's for dehydrated skin. And I'm loving the way it makes my face look. I was talking about it with my makeup team yesterday, and we were just bragging about it, how we've seen a difference in our faces with it. Just can't really describe it. It doesn't like give me a glow like you think, because then you think of like a lot of moisturizer or something, or shiny stuff, but my skin just looks healthier and my makeup looks incredible. I know they created this serum as like skincare, but it's so great with makeup. I love it as makeup prep. Like I said, it helps my skin not look dehydrated, which I live in the desert, you guys. I share with you all the time. I live in Arizona in the hottest spot, not like up where, you know, they have ski resorts. It's down here on the face of the sun. It's brutal. Yeah, so, all right, I've got that. Just kind of pat it in. I didn't necessarily want to like smush it in. I just want to pat it into my face. Now, I've been doing this a couple times and it's just like, I think for shock factor, I'm not using primer. I like primer and I definitely use it on clients when they need their makeup to last all day and all the things. I like to use primer, especially if I'm gonna do liquid foundation. But I've noticed with this cream foundation, I don't need a primer as much. And maybe it'll be different for you. You know, maybe you live in a completely different climate, but where I live, I'm just finding I don't need that primer with this cream foundation. I'm loving it. I can't say love enough. All right, the creams. So I'm gonna use this Jafra Beauty cream foundation. I just have this one called Natural. That's really the shade that I use on my whole face, but I'm gonna do a little bit of contouring with this shade Cappuccino. And it's kind of a neutral, deep shade. A lot of the deeper shades will have a lot of gold in them. There'll be a little bit orangey, which is great. But for me, I wanted to keep it neutral. I didn't want to add in more orange because I can get pretty orangey if I'm not careful. So I'm gonna start with the one that matches my face. And you guys, you can use any cream foundation you like to do this technique. I try not to focus too much on brand. I love Jafra Cosmetics. I am a makeup trainer for that company, and I've been working with them for a long time, so I just love them. But if you have a different brand that you love, it's okay. I want to teach you techniques and how to work with different products, so you can take these techniques and these tips and tricks with you always, regardless of what's trending or what brand you're using. So I just have a little bit of that cream foundation on a fluffy foundation brush. I'm not going to use a sponge today because I want to have a little bit more freedom to manipulate the product. That sounded kind of technical, but trust me. So I'll just put a little bit right in the middle. And I'm not getting it under my eyes. You guys check it out. I'm not putting a ton of stuff under my eyes. I feel like we need more lighting. Let's bring this sucker around here. Have a giant ring light. It's a lot, but I want you to be able to see all the things. So I gave us a little bit more light over here. I hope it helps. Okay. Leave it to me to adjust the lighting right in the middle of the video. Okay. So back to the shade that kind of matches my skin best. And I always say, like, you're not gonna find one shade that matches you perfectly, because I'm 5 different colors. Why would one, like, I guess it could balance it out, but you know, I gotta mix it up a little bit. Okay, now just lightly going over my upper lip area and really light under my eyes. Now that that brush is pretty dry and I've got a lot of the product off of it, I'll just buff gently under my eyes, because I'm going back later with concealer, a lifting concealer tip, if you will. So I'll get just a tiny bit more of that. Natural is the name of that shade, the natural shade foundation. I'm definitely getting on my eyelids though. I don't like to go under the eyes too much, but on my eyelids, yes, because that's gonna help my eyeshadow last longer. Hey, and you guys, I don't know if you ever noticed that some of our darkness comes from our upper lid. Like sometimes you'll have purple veins or a little bit of dark pigmentation up here, and it kind of reflects down. So sometimes if you just get that upper lid cleaned up, it'll brighten up pretty good by itself. And then you don't have to focus on packing so much product underneath your eye, because that tends to be a little more wrinkly. Yay, right? Okay. So I'm gonna get some more on my jaw here. Just a little more coverage here. This is where I have a lot of discoloration in this area. And especially on this side, I think it's like my driving side. This is the place that the sun stalks me. I have a lot of women say, you know, I don't use a lot of sunscreen because I don't go out in the sun a lot. And I'm like, girl, I'm getting blasted in my car like there's no tomorrow. So think about that incidental sun exposure. When you least expect it, your face is being attacked by the sun. All right, brought it down my neck just a little bit because you can see the discoloration on my chest and all that. But today I'm wearing a scoop neck, so I don't want to get makeup in my shirt. So anyway, all right, that's a pretty good amount. I know I'm kind of uneven when I do makeup on here for you guys, because my eyes aren't great anymore and it's hard to see. But it all comes together in the end. So I hope that gives you hope. When I screw stuff up, and I've been a makeup artist for 33 years, when I screw it up and it comes out fine, that means you shouldn't worry so much. All right, I have cappuccino. See how beautiful this is? It's fairly neutral. It's not quite as gold as the others. And I have a concealer brush. You could use a different type brush if you like for this part, but I like this little dude. And I'm gonna just see my Nike swoop here, because I don't want to contour from here to here, because it'll just drag my face down. Remember, I told you I want to have a lift. My face has gotten flat. I've lost a lot of volume. I have deflated, especially since I lost a lot of weight recently too. So I got a double whammy. Okay, so you can kind of see how I'm trying to bring it up. I don't want to get it too much here in my smile lines, which I was talking to a beautiful woman yesterday who was talking about my nasal labial folds. I think that's what those are. I don't know all those technical terms. I'm gonna put some here. And because this is cream, I don't have to worry about it drying too quick. Like concealer, like if you're gonna do this with liquid concealer, you better get to getting on the blending thing with that. Okay, now I contoured my forehead because I have like, oh, I have the biggest forehead in the world, you guys. So I even have little hairs like hiding the hairline right now. So I like to do a little extra contour and bring it down. But if you have a smaller forehead, you could just do a tiny bit of contour here. I have friends that like have almost no forehead. Their hairline is so low. So a lot of contour wouldn't be necessary then, but I really got to kind of bronze up right there. Okay, I'm also going to do under here. I don't like to do a lot of nose contour because I have a scar on my nose. It goes down my bridge and on the side from having a carcinoma cancer removed. And so I don't like to accent that scar by putting a lot of product on the bridge of my nose. But if you like nose contour, you could easily just do the sides here. If you wear glasses though, you might want to omit this step because you know, you're going to get your glasses in your contour and it's going to just, it's just going to bring it down. Probably don't want to waste time with that. Okay, now I'm going to go underneath. Now notice I haven't dipped back in the product yet. I'm kind of trying to just use everything on the brush. I'll go ahead and get a little bit more now. Just one little right on top of that. And I'm gonna go light because I don't want to get this ton of brown stuff under here. But I am gonna sculpt right here so you can see it's strengthening up my jaw. And I do have a little bit of a jowl beginning here. So I'm just gonna bronze it up a little bit. What's happening is I'm creating a shadow on it, which the shadow is intended to push it away from your attention. So what you don't contour comes to the attention. So it's not really about slapping brown lines or brown powder on your face. It's where you don't put that stuff. That's what's going to naturally be highlighted or brought to your attention. Some people think when you say highlighter, they think shiny powder. So again, I'm putting it right here on the little jowl area, lightly. See, lightly. But I don't mean shiny powder when I say highlighter, you guys. I mean highlight, like bring to the attention, or the highlights of your face are the most important parts, or the parts you want to accentuate. Like when you say, what were the highlights of that speech? That means the most important parts of the speech. Or when you watch Sports Center, the highlights of the game on a football game, and it's the best parts of the game, right? Or sometimes maybe the worst parts, but you know, it's the parts they're gonna accentuate, bring to everybody's attention. So those are the highlights, usually the best parts. So think about that when you're highlighting your face. It doesn't mean putting shiny powder on it always. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the other brush I was using and just blend like a maniac right now. I feel like I have some darkness right here today. That's unusual. So blending, I want to go back and add just a little bit more of the cappuccino shade and blend a little bit more. So just really, I know you hear, you know, blending is the key, you know, just blend, blend, blend. It's really true, you guys. Blending, blending, blending. That is the key. I want to bring it up a little bit more. There we go. Now blend on this side. Making sure to keep this nice and bright. Look at the weird faces I'm making too. I notice sometimes when I'm doing makeup for my clients, they want to help me like with their blush, so they'll be like, I'm like, you don't have to, don't do that, don't be a helper, it's okay. don't help me. Or if you're doing their lipstick and they're like, it's so funny. I'm like, just be still. Okay, now I'm gonna blend out the forehead. I'm gonna bring up the contour shade just a little more into my hairline. I'm just being really careful because I have a lot of like light gray and platinum hairs here, and I don't want to color them all brown and bronzy. So I'm just being a little more intricate right there. If you have brown hair or black hair, you may not need to be that careful. And I'm just bring it a little bit more. So I'm just working with my two brushes, just working it in really simple. Now I'll go to the jawline and I'll just begin to blend it down. Which what this is doing is creating a shadow, like as if the sun was hitting here on this nice strong jawline right here, and then this shadow's coming down. Trying to make sure you can see all this jazz under here. And bringing it down. And I want to bring it down my neck just a little bit more. And we're going to be using the same concept on the eyes. I'm going to like almost contour my eyes. You're going to be really shocked how simple this is. So you guys, when you're thinking about contour, I want you to see that it doesn't have to be so hard. Wow, that looks pretty when I just looked in the regular mirror too. It doesn't have to be so hard. When you're thinking about it, think the number 3. So I did the number 3 here, and I did the number 3 here. But just remember the lifting part. Remember to bring that forehead down if you got a big one like I do. And remember, just blend, just trust that process. If you've never done this before, it may feel a little wacky, but just try it. I mean, if it turned out really bad, you could just blend it all together. If it was real bad, you could just take it off. It's okay, but it's only gonna become easier for you and a little more natural if you're practicing. I'm gonna use just a tiny bit of powder. I'm just using a translucent, almost vanilla color. So you can use whatever powder you like, but I'm just gonna press it through the middle. I don't wanna over powder because I really like the healthy way my skin looks with this cream, but I do need to buff like certain areas that get a lot of lines in them. They just naturally will crease. All right. I want to use some blush now. I'm gonna use a shade called Rose Oro, and it is a powder blush. So because I took a little bit of powder, that translucent powder, and put it right through there, I can now put that on top of my cream foundation without it sticking and making a blob on top. You know, the powder on a really thick, wet cream will just really grab right there. So, I'm gonna use this nice peachy color and pop it right on top of the contour. So the contour was here, and I'm gonna do the same with the blush. I'm just gonna make sure it just goes up. I always say like the swoop on a Nike tennis shoe. Darker toward the hairline, fade toward the nose, but not in a stripe, you guys, not a downward stripe. That's gonna bring your cheek down, so up. Again, okay? And then, you know, really accentuating the apple of your cheek there. I'm really trying to give myself a plump little apple cheek. Now right on top of the contour on this side. And I'm trying to get a lot of blush because I want to have more than usual. But by the time I get to the end of my makeup, my blush really disappears a lot. Or, you know, it just kind of all comes together once you get everything on. I'm gonna do the tip of my nose. That's a simple way to just bring some definition to the tip of your nose without having to do complicated contour tricks. I do like a little bit of blush right above the arches of my brow to bring all that color in. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you what I meant by contouring for the eyelids, okay? I feel like I have a hair just wanting to attack me. All right, I'm gonna use a light shade for my eyeshadow. Now, this color is like a nice creamy color. You could use like a more peachy color if you want, but something that's gonna be nude on you. So if you have a deeper skin tone, it might be a different color, but whatever would be considered nude for you. So just a little bit with a nice fluffy eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna cover my entire eyelid from lashes to brows and side to side, keeping it lighter on the inner corner here when possible. That's gonna be part of that contour. So that's almost like I'm highlighting this area right here, okay? So keeping that concept of contour and highlight in mind when doing eyeshadow. So you guys, I mentioned when I first started that I don't like to focus on brand. I really want you to just focus on, you know, the product, what it's for, and the technique, because you should be able to achieve great results, you know, with whatever product you like. Some, of course, will work better than others, but I want you to be comfortable with what you've got in your own makeup bag, or, you know, when making a new purchase, that it doesn't always have to be the most expensive thing, okay? But anyway, I happen to use a lot of Jafra cosmetics, like I said, because I love them. I've been working with them for a while. And this year I had the honor of being their makeup trainer. I'm like an international makeup trainer. Can't believe it. So fun, so cool. But I was doing a training in Dallas, Texas recently. This is very recently. And I was getting ready in the morning, and I woke up in the morning to start getting ready for this makeup training. I, of course, want to look fabulous. I'm a makeup trainer. I want to like have all the makeup and be fabulous, right? Okay, now watch the eyeshadow real quick. See the highlighted area, and I'm going to go in with the contour. You can use whatever eyeshadow you like for this. I'm going to use a contour palette just because I like brown eyeshadow, and I want to show you something simple with this, okay? So I'm just going to take this nice light brown. You can use, if you have a light brown eyeshadow, it's fine. With kind of a fluffy crease brush. It's fairly large. If you have a smaller eye, just use a smaller crease brush. And I want to go in darker on the outside. Fade toward the nose, just like we did with contour. Darker on the outside, fade toward the nose. Keep it darker out here. Keep it coming up towards your brow. I'm just bouncing it right here and stacking that product up. Let me come closer so you can see. And now just bringing it over toward the middle. It doesn't look perfect. And you guys know I make a lot of mistakes, and it's okay because it comes together in the end. This doesn't look great. Like, it's a little splotchy, just because the texture of the skin on my eyelid isn't great. It's not super smooth. You know, I've been plucking for years and all the weird things happen, but it's gonna come together. All right, I'm gonna do the other eye. So back to what I was saying. I was doing this training and I wanted to look marvelous and fabulous. Okay, well, I have false teeth. This is part of the story. Follow me. I have false teeth, and a lot of you know that I was an alcoholic my whole life. I was very unhealthy. I led a really horrible life for a long time. And praise the Lord, I've been sober 11 years. But while I was getting sober in a women's home, I had the blessing of getting some new teeth. You know, I had the typical horrible looking teeth typical of somebody who, you know, lived that lifestyle for so long, for 40 years. So when I was in the women's home, I got some new teeth, but they're false teeth. So back to me being in Dallas, I had to get up early to get ready for this training. And when I woke up in the morning, I realized I didn't have my teeth in. They're the kind you take out at night. You guys, I'm sharing a very embarrassing, very vulnerable moment with you, but feel free to laugh if you want. I didn't have my teeth in, and I didn't know where they were. I didn't remember taking them out the night before. Sometimes you do that. If you have false teeth, you take them out and you soak them at night. But I didn't do that because I don't do it every single night. And I didn't know where my teeth were. Okay, and I'm supposed to be at a makeup training where I'm speaking and training a lot of women, and I would be in front of a classroom representing a cosmetic company. And how do you call and say, sorry, I'm not showing up to all the people that bothered to come today? I can't be here. I can't find my teeth. It was one of the most horrible experiences. It was like probably 5 straight minutes. I couldn't find them. I eventually found them in the bed, wrapped up in the blankets. I think I had a bad dream and ripped them out. It's okay. You guys will probably unsubscribe at this point. That's the weirdest story in the world, but it was probably one of the most horrible experiences for me ever. I'm so glad I can laugh about it now. Okay, I've got that eyeshadow on my second shade, so it contoured my eyelid. That hanging, sagging, hooded eyelid, you kind of give it a disguise, like as if you have a crease in there. You're adding dimension and depth to the eyelid with that second shade. Now I'm gonna go with a darker shade. I grabbed my Spicy Peach palette, and I'm gonna use this brown that's in there. It's just a really deep cocoa brown shade. And, oh no, this is the Butterfly palette, never mind. I said Spicy Peach, I was wrong. So this really dark cocoa brown, I'm gonna put right on my lash line here. And now I'm gonna just begin to fade it up into that little crease I created. And this is just a really little eyeshadow brush. And don't keep it way down here and let it get lost when you open your eye. Make sure it's coming up a little bit, okay? Into that other shade. I'm gonna go back to my big fat brush and get a little bit more of my second shade in the contour palette and just begin to transition it a little bit so it will blend a little bit better. And see, that bouncing technique really helps. Okay, so I want you to see how it's darker out here and it fades, and then it's nice and bright right here. So that's also a contour trick. That's giving a lifted and elongated look to my eye. And especially when I go back and clean it with concealer, it'll be sharper and be even more lifted. So this is just a building process. So just those 3 steps of eyeshadow, super simple. They just take a little bit of practice, but they really are gonna have a great finish. So stick with me. So, all right, you guys, I couldn't believe that that happened to me with the teeth thing. It was like embarrassing, like something I thought I'm never gonna tell anybody this happened. And then of course I had to tell my husband. As I'm telling him, he's cracking up and he's like, are you okay? Because normally you would be laughing about this. And I thought, you know what, you're right. Why am I so freaked out about this? I found them. It was just the thought of not finding them, I think, that freaked me out, the what if. Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? Like, that's not something you hear every day happening to people. But here we are. Now you're hearing of it. Yeah, so I mean, a day in the life of Jackie Alves. So now you know I have false teeth. All right, so just bringing it down by the lash line, fading it into the crease. See how it's only about 1/3 of the way over and just begins to fade into like half? And you guys, I know this isn't even because, you know, my vision just isn't great, but I'm doing my best and you'll be able to see how it really does come together in the end. So You know, I know this will give you hope if you have felt like it just doesn't look right, like I can't get this right. I hope this gives you like that push to try it and be like, oh, maybe it can work, because Jackie was a disaster when she first started, and then it all came together. All right, so I just blended with that fluffy brush again that I had done that second shade, just to make sure it's nice and kind of smoky. And now I want to go back and add some shimmer, because that's going to highlight the inner corner. So we are using shimmer now when we talk about highlight. But it's nice and bright right there already. So if you don't like shimmer, you can leave it matte. It's okay. But I love me some shimmer. So I'm going to use this gold and the diamond from my contour palette. This is my brand, the Beauty Bar, where I am right now, my makeup studio. And I'm just gonna go like this on my bottom lid, using my ring finger, just popping a little bit of shimmer on there. You can see what a huge pop that gives. Super pretty, just with my ring finger. It doesn't matter if you like to use a brush or your ring finger, whatever works for you, but this is really simple for me. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of the diamond shade and put it even closer on the inner corner. Now if you have, you know, really hooded lids, or you've lost a lot of the elasticity here, you don't have to do this part if you're worried about it making it worse. But if you want to give it a try, I say give it a go, because look at that. And so it's bringing all this attention, like it's elongating it, but it's popping the light right there, which is also brightening my eye. Now I want to go back to that little small brush I was using for the crease. I'm going to use that cocoa brown again. And I just want to put some right under my eye here on the outer corner and here. All right, but you know, in all of my teeth losing antics that day, I just couldn't get over like that one of my worst nightmares was coming true. It took me a while to get to the other side of that. Even after I found them, I was like, so sometimes that can really affect us, you know. So I felt affected like almost for the rest of the morning by that. Isn't that crazy? I had already found them, it was no big deal, but I kept thinking like, there's no way I like had a bad dream and flung them out the window or something, is there? You know, there's no telling what people do in their sleep. All right, I'm gonna use a little bit of black eyeliner now. I wanna show you a lifting eyeliner trick too. So we did some lifting contour, I did a lifting eyeshadow. Now I'm gonna do a lifting eyeliner. So instead of letting it come down this way and up, ooh, let me sweep that out. I'm not gonna follow my lash line all the way down and then, you know, have this little flick that disappears when I open my eye. I'm actually gonna start up here. Let me come closer and build it up into a fat triangle. And now I'm gonna just bring it down and make it disappear into my lashes. And now just really skinny, following my lash line. And at this point, I have, of course, grabbed my magnifying mirror. All right, see the fat triangle? It's the fat triangle technique. I just named it that. All right, well, fat triangle eyeliner it is. I'm gonna do the other side. Now check this out. Just building it up. I'm not trying to create a long wing though, you guys. Like, for me, the days of a long wing are gone. That's not my focus anymore. I just wanna bring definition and a little bit of a like pow to the outer corner to give that lift, okay? That's why just eyeshadow on bottom to keep it soft, but a nice bold liner on top. All right, fat triangle. Now a skinny line across the top that disappears into my lashes. Make it fatter. All right, it's looking good. I mean, it's definitely not even. All right, it's not even. Whatever, I don't even care anymore. It's fine, it's fine. I'm gonna give up because it looks pretty good. And like I always say, trust the process. It'll be fine once I get to mascara and all that jazz. So right now I'm gonna put a little bit of brow powder on my brows because you can see how they're faded right now just because I have permanent makeup, of course, but then I got foundation on them too. So I'm just gonna bring them back to life with a little slant brush. And some brow powder. It just kind of brings back the definition, and you don't have to be super precise with it. All right, that looks really good so far. Let me get my other mirror so I can do this side for you. I've been getting a lot of questions about permanent makeup, women asking about microblading and all that. You know, it's obviously, it's not new. It's been around for a while. A lot of people have it, but some women are still feeling a little uncomfortable getting it because they've seen some bad ones. So I just want to encourage you, if you're curious about it, just find a brow artist who you can have a consultation with. See what you think about her and how, you know, if you feel comfortable with her. And then ask her, you know, if she does like the powder brow technique or an ombre brow, because that's soft. It's not like the lines like microblading. It's not a tattoo where it's harsh. It's really soft and it does look like powder, like makeup. And that's what I got, and I've been really, really happy with it. And it's been one of the best things I ever did. As my eyesight gets worse, it really helps me to have those already done. And then I don't have to worry so much every day about getting those crazy eyebrows on. Oh, drive me crazy. Trying to do the eyebrows every day. One time I was in Costa Rica with my husband, and it was like, two times I was in Costa Rica. The first time I didn't have the brows done, and the second time I did. And the difference in the two trips, it was epic to me to have that freedom to just put on some lip gloss and walk out. As the first time when I didn't have the brows, I was doing my makeup, because you can't just put brows on by themselves. You gotta have foundation and powder under them or they won't stay. So I felt like I was having to do my makeup for every little thing. So the second time when I had the permanent makeup, I just felt like there was freedom to just like run out the door onto the beach. All of a sudden I was Bo Derek in the movie 10, which I don't look like that, especially not in a bathing suit, but I felt like that just running onto the beach with my eyebrows. Like, isn't that funny that having nice eyebrows made me feel as sexy as Bo Derek? Oh man, we're kind of weird as women. We just, different things make us feel good about ourselves, right? Well, I'm probably the weirdest. All right, mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some mascara on. I'm gonna get a good amount because I don't wanna do lashes today. Now for lifting, a little tiny half lash is a good idea, but sometimes you just don't feel like it, right? And today I don't feel like it. So I'm gonna do a great buildup of this fantastic mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, mascara's done, and you can see I've got quite a lift going on out here. with a buildup of mascara. Now, like I said, you can use a little half lash if you want, or even a full if you like it, but a little extra volume on these outer corners really helps if you don't have thick lashes or a great mascara that you love. And then my eyeshadow is darker on the outer corners and has that pop of highlight on the inner corner that really gives this elongated look. But that crease shade, the second shade that I used, and then accenting it with that darker one, really created that crease and that depth in my hooded lids. So that's like contouring for eyelids as well. So really great to know how to do that. Now I'm going to conceal under my eyes and really sharpen up that eyeshadow and brighten up under my eyes. But something I shared in my last video is I really love to use, sometimes, not always, but I love to use foundation as my concealer. So I have a little bit under, or I have a little bit on my hand here, and I'm just using this matte foundation that actually has a very velvety finish to it. It's Jafra Cosmetics matte foundation. Really super velvety. It moves with your skin, so I really like it. It doesn't get stiff, but this is the shade Alabaster. You saw that it's really, really light. And I'm gonna use it right directly under my eyes as a concealer. It's got good coverage, but it's not stiff like concealer, so I like the way it looks under my eyes, and I like the way it feels too. It's not so harsh. It doesn't crease and age me as bad as a lot of concealers do. All right, so I'm just using a fluffy concealer brush and just gently buffing it out. Now I will sharpen up that eyeshadow like I told you I was gonna do, which naturally will give this lifted effect too, because look how that's on top of that blush. Now it does go into the blush a little bit, but I'm gonna go back and back blend that blush so it all comes together really nice. And I'm just doing a lightweight layer because I don't have a lot of dark circles. So I don't need a ton of product, but if you do, you can just do a second layer. All right, you can see how it kind of came into the blush right there, which is good because it's highlighting on top there as well. So this is, yes, concealing, but it's also highlighting and giving that lift. Now I'll go back with my blush brush and just back blend is what I like to call it. It's really just bringing everything together so that you don't have this really like bright separated line right there. Let me do the other side. Really light. I barely used any of that foundation, you guys. So if you ever try that and you use foundation as concealer, that foundation is gonna last you twice as long as a concealer, if not way longer, because it's just a bigger bottle. Probably gonna use less product too. It's always, you know, a larger tube or bottle than concealer. I mean, usually. All right, now bringing it up, you can see I'm just really adding definition and a lift there. Make sure they're even though. You don't want to be crooked. So make sure they're even as you lift. And just buffing it out. Let me come up to you a little bit closer. And now my brush is pretty dry at this point, so just buffing. I didn't add too much product because I would rather go back and add more than have a big blob under there. And you know, my last video, we talked about having blobs on our face. You just gotta be careful of how much product you blob onto yourself. So I'm gonna take my blush brush and back blend a little bit. See how it all just comes together? That's so pretty. I love the way it just goes in and just brightens under my eyes. Now, if you don't like it that bright, it's okay. You could go just one shade lighter than your foundation, which I went really in depth on that in my previous video. If you'd like to go check that out, I talked a little bit more about that concealing. So now that I've got that done, I want to take my foundation brush that matched the shade on my face and just make sure everything's buffed out. And I did a very lightweight contour. I didn't do like a deep sculpt. You can do that with using the same techniques. You just do a buildup of more product. But I just didn't want to. I just wanted to be a little more lightweight today. All right, I'm gonna go over my lips with my foundation brush. I don't want to put a bunch of foundation on my lips. I just buffed using what's on the brush because it mutes down your lip color a little bit. Now I want to use this pink color. It's like a nude, well, I don't know. It's like a nude pink, I guess. But it's called Pillow Talk Fair. It's the Fair Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. I almost never use these like super expensive trending brands. You know, I use what works for me, for my clients. You know, I do makeup and face after face here, so I like to just use what works, what's fairly affordable. But I loved the color Pillow Talk, and I knew that they had a fair, so I want you to check it out. Let me come closer. You can see it's a real nice pinky nude. Now they have regular Pillow Talk that isn't quite as pink, and it's more of a warm pink. And they even have a Pillow Talk for deeper skin tones as well. And I'm not an influencer for Charlotte Tilbury. I don't have a link or a discount code, but you can get this lip liner anywhere they sell makeup. Let me take that back. Anywhere they sell like luxury brand makeup, so like Ulta, Sephora, whatever, online, that's where you can get it. But it's pricey and it doesn't last very long. The pencil doesn't last very long, but it lasts a long time on my lips, and the shade's really great, so that's why I use it. I'm gonna start at my Cupid's bow. And I'm just going in really light and feathery with it. And I do like to overline. You don't have to, but if you can, it sure makes a difference. And I'll do the bottom. Not bad. And you know, a little on the pink side for me. I tend to go a little more of a warmer nude or neutral, but I thought these pink lips were really pretty. So now I'm going to just use a cream blush for my lipstick because I love the shade. And I'm just buffing it in with my ring finger. So I've got warm on my eyes and cool on my lips. So I wanted you to see that this will still work. You don't have to do your whole face the same shade. Now I want to go in and add a little bit of gloss. And this is just a nice, like, warm shade in the tube, but it's not completely, it doesn't have a lot of pigment. It's still clear. All right. All finished there. I like the way this looks. Turned out really pretty. I'm gonna do a little bit of setting spray. I have a setting spray by Jafra Cosmetics. This is from their beauty collection, and this one has some coconut water and aloe in it, so it feels good on your skin. It's pretty soothing, but it's a great setting spray. Don't forget your bougie fan. Carry the fan around with you in your purse if necessary, and the setting spray. All right, let me get these weird little hairs down here. And today I want to wear some funky, gigantic earrings. I usually wear those little tiny silver ones. You probably see me wear them too much. I like them because I can sleep in them, and I'm a little bit lazy. So I like to sleep in my jewelry, and then it's just on when I get up. But sometimes I get a little crazy, and I like to wear gigantic earrings. And these are much more lightweight than they look. And that's always a bonus. If they're not gonna pull your ears down to your kneecaps, that's a bonus. I love this look today. I feel like the contour is incredible today. I love the way this look turned out. The contour is giving me a nice lift. You can see the way I did the eyelids has highlighted that inner corner, but really brought some depth to the outer corners. And I feel like I've really sculpted my chin really well, which is nice because it's not. Make sure I have the lipstick off of my false teeth. Can't believe I shared that with you guys. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me, the authentic and usually ridiculous Jackie Alves, here at my fantastic makeup studio in blazing hot Arizona. And I hope you guys know that I love you and I appreciate you so much watching my videos. Thanks for the subscriptions. Thanks for the amazing comments and engagement. And I hope that I brought value to your day. I'll see you back here next time. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Bye, everyone.